G'day everyone. Well, another event. Here we are at the Holden Nationals at Heathcote Park. Drag Racing Nationals this is. Probably the best event for the year that is run at Heathcote, unless you've got the top fuelers here. Todd Foley's event, everyone supports it. There's over 200 cars, I think 230 cars entered. Biggest field that we've had since it's been going. We've got cars everywhere, people camping for the night. It's going to be a massive day today as well as tomorrow. We've got today we're doing our qualifiers, and then tomorrow we're getting into racing. We get another qualifier tomorrow, and then into the racing. It's knockout in our category, and there's the big guys are going to go with a Chicago shootout. It's going to be massive. Again, this event is the best because it's done by a racer for the racers, and the cars, the quality of the cars that come out and how fast they are is just insane. So if anyone's want to bucket list this event, come on down, get in early with your entry. I think Todd's talking about capping it because Heathcote Park is packed. There's not a spot left for people to park there and set up in the pits, and all the trailers have had to be moved to another area because the trailer area that's normally used is actually full of cars. So great event. Again, catching up with a bunch of mates, which we do every year, and we're going to have another crack, but looking forward to it. So I've had one run so far, first qualifier. Good to get that one out, cobwebs out of me, and we'll go on to the next one. A couple of different events this year, or categories this year. Used to have like an outlaw category. This year we've gone with more of just an aspirated thing. He's run a drag and drive part of the event, and there's the big bangers. There's the big tyre class, which is running over the 8th. We've got Bruno here. I've talked to Bruno already. We're going to have a bit of try and position a bit of an interview with him, hopefully. He's got his HG blown big block, insane fast car. So I want to have a talk to him. There's another awesome car here that I've been watching for a few years. It was owned previously by a mate of mine in Tassie, and now it's here by the previous owner before him, and he's got it going on the track again, and it's here. So there's I'll hopefully catch up with him. That's Chris, and we'll get a bit of an interview with any luck. Anyway, let's get on with it. We'll go and watch some racing. Here we are now at the start line. A few of the big bangers are getting up here now. So we've got Luke Foley about to have a run. Mark Drew's had a run. Ryan McPhee's had a run. Some impressive times already. Let's see how they go. So I've got Luke Foley up for his first run. We'll see how Luke goes with this thing. New engine combo, just a freshen up I believe, but we'll hopefully get to talk to him a bit later on. So we'll see how he goes with this run. So Mark Drew's laid down a 7:37 as his first pass for the day in his qualifier. So he's laid down the gauntlet. We'll see how the things go. Lukey's car so far, he's run a 761 as a PB, ran last night and ran a 780 I think it was. His first run with the new combo, so interesting to see how he goes now, if he can turn it up a little bit. Apologise for the glare. It's a bit glary, but we can see if we can get a good launch off these cars.
get the remaining drivers from the 235, 255 class up to the commentary box, please. We need Dean and G, Ali Siad, Andrew Sobonicki, Peter Kudorski, Brendan Cherry, Captain Wheelstand, Kevin Cox. That is all for now. All the rest of the guys are here, so we need the rest of you up to the commentary box now, please. Just repeating. Dean G.
Alright, this time I'm with Luke Foley and with his beautiful VH Commodore. Luke's had a new upgrade to his driveline, I believe.
Yes.
Can you shed some more light on that, please, Luke?
Yeah, got a Dart SHP in there now. We had problems with the old block when we pulled it down for a check over. Luckily we pulled it down, so we found a porous metal bore. So Dart was good enough to come to the party and warrant the block, seeing it was a factory default. And yeah, so it's a fresh combo in our new block, new set of pistons, a bit smaller cubes, back to 427. And yeah, new cam, new lifters. As we heard, a cam and lifters on drag challenge. The whole reason for it to be pulled down and checked over anyway. Just
I remember that, yes.
Had a bit of metal go through it, so I thought we'd just pull it down for a check over.
So crank and all that stuff was okay?
Crank was fine, all cleaned up with a Linish. Obviously need to be rebalanced, put a better boosted suited piston in it. When it was pulled down, found a couple of hairline cracks in skirts of pistons. They just weren't a great boost piston that was fitted in it previously. So, but now I've had a couple of mates and they'd machine up the engine at Precision Engines, smashed it out for me, and pretty well. I've screwed it together all myself. They've done the machine work for me, and I've screwed it all together. So I've done everything on the car now myself. So
that's great.
So I don't have to worry about
absolute credit.
I know it inside out, so which is good.
Yeah,
so,
and you know every nut and bolt now.
Yeah, it's taken a few passes to get my head back around it. They've been different specs of the camshaft and a bit less cubes. It's a bit soft in the front half of the track, but didn't sort of have time to put on the dyno before the event, so just sort of been tuning it up on the straight, and then done a couple of half track passes on Thursday night, and sort of went a 520 to half, then a 5-1, which is equivalent to like a 790, then a 780 in this car. Then we done a full pass after that, which went a 780 straight out. And first thing yesterday morning went a 770 at 183. Then later on in the night we got it to actually 60 foot where it should be, back to where, like almost a PB in the 60 foot. But it got a bit ugly and got a bit out of control in the middle of the track, so we had to sort of get off it. So out of the group, but it still rolled through for an 8.0, off it at half, but it was on a decent pass. But the first run this morning, 760, straight up to a PB. So
I did notice that. I said straight away, well done, Luke. Yeah, this PB's great.
Yeah.
Again.
So mile an hour was down just a touch from yesterday, but a tag limiter just through the finish line. I heard it pop and just got off it. So save how holding it on the limiter. So
Oh, so that was a limiter pop.
Yeah, just give like a bit of a pop on the limiter as I come through.
That's all right. Yeah.
So, spins the wheels a bit through the top end. So
Yep. Oh, cool. And so this engine was not in the car a week ago?
Nah, not in the week. It's sitting on a stand, so I got it together. So
you love pushing things to the edge, don't you?
Don't love it. It's just how it fucking works out half the time.
It's not intentional. But I did see a little bit of footage of you doing a bit of street driving on it just to try and get a bit of a run in and a bit of a feel.
I think in a week I was able to put a 250 odd Ks on it. Pretty well the night before I put it on the trailer. So Wednesday night I had it on the hoist, give it a quick oil change, put the race pipes on and change the back wheels, and I was ready to go.
Yeah, right.
So
didn't have, while the engine was out, didn't get the transmission looked at or anything like that?
I didn't. I had it looked at back in August, so I pulled the motor and box out of it back in August to give it a check over before drag challenge, when it was meant to be, before we got all the rain.
Yep.
But I didn't end up pulling the engine down. I pulled the sump off, pulled a few caps, and it all looked perfect, so I put it back together. And I got the gearbox checked over then, so
Yep.
And would have been nice to have a bit more time to go over and touch up some of the paint, give it a bit of a clean up. It's been to hell and back, this thing. So
yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, you've got to use them, and if you're using them, they're going to get a little bit knocked about.
100%, yeah.
They're badges of honour in my eyes.
Yeah, that's it. It always comes back with a few extra bit of character scars after drag challenge and whenever we drive it. So that's what it is.
So the transmission is Turbo 400?
Turbo 400 with a trans brake first and second gear.
Yep.
We haven't really used second gear much, just if the track isn't great, we try to soften it up.
Yep.
But yeah, it's pretty good.
And rear end?
Sheet metal 9-inch, which Long Diff Boy's done. Just a nodular aluminium centre. 325 diff gears, 35 spline billet axles, just pretty basic
ARB
sort of stuff. Yeah, just got like a decent anti-roll bar, just all Viking coilover shocks.
Yep.
Only very basic setup for what's in it. So yeah. So.
All right. So I want to go back a bit. I want to go back to where it all started.
Yep.
First car.
Yep.
And how did you develop to this point with this car?
Yep.
You obviously didn't have this car from the first.
Didn't have
thing,
this.
so
No, I've had this is probably the longest car I've had. I did swap and chop and change a lot of cars over the years. First car was a little LJ 4-door Tirana that was a engineered V8. When I first got my licence, it was 253. Within a couple months of getting my licence, it was 308 mini tubbed. Then it was on the spray, which back 15, 18 years ago now was 10-second car back then on the bottle. 11's aspirated with an early headed Holden, and dipped into 1060s with a little spray of gas on it. So then that sort of moved on from there, and a few other cars over the years. Tough Cab, a yellow VN that ended up with a turbo LS in it, but had a little Tough 355 in it. And then this was actually my brother's car at one stage.
Oh, right.
And then it went through a few people's hands, and I got it, and then chopped it up many tubs and give it a quick coat of paint with a turbo LS in it, a stocky that I just wanted to drive everywhere. And then shit gets out of hand, and this is what you end up with. So,
so the development side of things, was it because you were chasing time, or you just the bug bit you with the drag race and you just had to?
The bug hit me with the drag racing, and obviously racing over the years, you want something that keeps you on your toes a bit. So I just gradually got a bit quicker over the years, and I've had always wheeled and dealed to get me way and work me way up with stuff, and built combos and sold them off to move on to something a bit better. So somebody else has got a good combo out of it, and then I've worked my way up to something a bit better. So
And you've got your own business now?
I do my own stuff from home. Yep. So I work at TDR Race Engines down in Geelong, but I do my own stuff from home, just little bits and pick and choose what I do.
Special customers.
Yeah, that's it. So so I don't do too much. I don't want to spend all the time in the shed, so I just pick and choose the ones I want to do and help out wherever I can, and
So I want to ask you, and I missed out a little bit with Blake, but with this interview, why is it so special, the Holden Nationals? Can you wrap it up in a one word or a sentence?
Look, it's all the atmosphere. Look, being able to camp here, there's a really good bunch of guys that are all down that actually enjoy racing. Everyone has a ball. Like, it's a very well run event. It is my brother's event, obviously, but I don't really have much input on it. If he needs a hand or says anything, I'm more than happy to give him a hand with bits and pieces, but he just ran off his feet. All the hours he puts into it shows. That's why it's such a popular event. Like, it's nearly the biggest event here every year, and anybody who comes here has a ball. So it's one of those things. You've got to come here to be able to appreciate it. And it's proper races, proper guys that want to have a race. It's just not like your guys that just once in a moon do it. Even the spectators you get here, like for some other events, like the hills are clear before 5 o'clock. A lot of people really stick around to watch the calibre of cars that come here. Like, there is a lot of beautiful cars here, that are like borderline show cars. And they just go out there and beat up on them the same. Like, it's a great event.
So in taking that out of that, it's the atmosphere, it's the people.
Great atmosphere, and it's over 2 days or 3 days, whatever you want to stretch it out to. It's a little bit more relaxed pace. Yes, there is. Sometimes you can't help it when things get slowed down a bit, but all in all, 99% of people have a great time here.
I agree. So on that note, thank you very much for your time to do this interview. I hope it comes up all right and you're happy with it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers.
And I love watching your race. I think we've all got a soft spot for you, and because you do it hard sometimes. Like, you've broken diff centres here. You've had to throw them together for drag challenge. You've done the camshaft last drag challenge. And the hard luck story. But you're always one of the fastest here, and I just credit to you for how thorough you are with your car.
Cheers, mate.
And how particular you are with the way you build your cars.
Yeah.
So
You
well done.
you always find the limits of stuff if you're pushing them. But as you say, like that's what we do it for. And look, I wish I could just give up sometimes and just go. But no, if there's a way of making it happen, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So it's just the way I am.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well done. Thanks, mate.
Perfect. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.